The art of self-promotion should be authentic and tailored to your personality and your strengths. It's not about bragging, but it's rather about demonstrating your value and your expertise to potential customers and collaborators. So building a strong personal brand and consistently delivering high quality work is really at the core of your effectiveness as a self-promoter or a freelancer or someone who's a consultant in your own business. So next slide. This is the team here at BACD. I'm Teresa. You've met me. You may know Patrice and Marlon. Ashley looks after our client services, and Lindy looks after all our reporting in the background. So our team is here to help support you. We have been around for 24 years, and I just want to get rid of this page on the side, but I would exit. Good. So just talking about our services that we have. So we have one-on-one advisory services. We have the business fundamental workshops, which is a suite of about 8 services or 8 workshops that we run that are all around the fundamentals of you doing business and the fundamentals of what goes into the success of every business. We also offer networking opportunities. So an opportunity like here, I've said, please put it in the chat box, who you are, what you're looking for, maybe how someone can help you. And then we also run a couple of grant programs. So Start a Company Plus and Summer Company. And then we have a coaching program called Start Smart and Modern CEO. So I'll be telling you more about those programs, or you can also ask us. I don't want to make it all about me. I really want to make it about you and get on to the rest of this presentation. A couple of our other programs are called Digital Main Street and Shop Here. So again, these are on our website under bacd.ca. If you look at the top, we have a tab called Starting Your Business and Growing Your Business. Both of those tabs explain these programs in a lot of detail. So let's talk about the freelancing industry. So you may know, I'm sure you do, that it's a growing industry. If you just look at what we have gone through in the last 3 to 5 years, the market has really exploded in terms of the opportunities that are available to you to do different kinds of work opportunities, right? So we are saying that it's 1.57 billion people and growing. In fact, I can grab the statistic, put that in the chat box for you so that you can have a look at it. Give me 1 second. There it is. If you want to look at the statistics about it, there's global growth. So 47% of the global workforce is involved in some sort of freelance, side hustle, a little bit of contract work. There's a lot of people that are involved in this. And if you look at it from a product development perspective, 3 in 10 Fortune 100 companies source freelance talent for their business. And I know for me at BACD, we use a lot of freelancers to help us because we can't afford to have someone full-time, but can afford to hire them for certain specific things, right? So in 2021, freelancing contributed $1.3 million to the US economy. So of course, these statistics are US because Canada doesn't do the best job in actually staying on top of the statistics. So next, I want to talk about our workshop series that we have coming up. We have 3 workshops that are all to do with freelancing, subcontracting, and the gig economy. So the first one is today, Marketing, the Art of Self-Promotion. The next one is Time and Money, which is about maximizing your productivity and profitability. It's Wednesday, November the 9th. November and the 9th. And then we also have Money Matters, which is November the 15th. It is during the Do It in Durham week. You will have a copy of this presentation anyway, so that you'll be able to go back and look at it. And this will also be on social media as well for you to see it. So I'd love you to put in the chat box what some of your challenges are as a freelancer, gig economy, as a side hustler. But if you look at the main challenges of being in business for yourself as a side hustler and as a gig economy worker or a freelancer, really, irregular income is one of the hardest things for us to deal with. It's hard to predict our revenue. It's hard to predict our expenses. It can be difficult to plan for the future. Finding clients, sometimes it's hard because you are busy doing the work and then you're trying to, network and build relationships with people at the same time. Managing your workload is tough because you are having to do a lot of different things, wear a lot of hats. And then, of course, things like legal and tax issues. Yes, finding time to market my business is a big deal. Navigating different contracts, different tax laws. You know, a lot of us are working in the US. There's different laws that apply, you know. Lack of benefits could be another one. So yes, working for yourself, you have the flexibility of being able to work as many hours as you might want to, but that also means that you have to control your expenses and the opportunities that you have. So there are challenges when it comes to that. So where do we start? We start by looking at a SWOT analysis. So I've cheated a little bit on the SWOT analysis because I've made it a little bit more succinct to the things that we would deal with as freelancers or people that are working, you know, for ourselves, right? So when we look at a SWOT analysis, looks at what are the strengths and weaknesses and the opportunities and threats that you have as a business owner. And yes, Shiva brings up a really good point in the chat box that it's about wearing too many hats. It's very true. You are the CEO, you are the manager, you are the vice president, and you are the worker bee of your own business as well. So when we look at your services, you know, you need to understand really what your services are and who your target audience is. You as a business owner, you have to continually research the market, continue to look for, you know, who's hiring, what opportunities are there for my business, continue to ask your customers what's working for them, because you have to keep building your business and keep thinking of opportunities for you to grow your business. You want to also know about the personas of who your customers are. So if nobody knows what the persona is, it's like, if I think about who my customers are, what do I see in my mind? That is a persona. I see a customer. So for BACD, our customers are either people that are starting a business or people that are growing a business. And our other customer market is the community. So all the people that refer people to us is our community. So we have built detailed personas on each one of those so that we know what we want to market to our customers. We know how we talk to our customers. We know the things that we need. So another thing is, for a business owner, you also want to understand your unique value proposition. This is what sets you apart from others. This needs to be clear, concise, strong, memorable. You need it to stand out from your competition, right? You want to identify what your strengths are and what sets you apart. Hope that makes sense. So on any of this, please, everybody, if you could mute yourself. There's a lot of us on here, and I can hear a lot of background noise. Thank you. So with any of the slides we go through today, if there are things on here that you don't quite understand or need to know a little bit more about, you can contact us. You can come and meet with us one-on-one at BACD. And when I say meet, you can meet online or in person. Sometimes online is easier for us because the challenge with being in person sometimes is that we need like a buffer of time before each and after meeting, where online we can literally go meeting to meeting. So it means you can just get in easier and quicker to see us. But we are here to help you decide what this is for your business and for you to be able to grow your business. So let's look at some key marketing channels. So I don't know, obviously, where everybody is. Have I gone one too far? I have. Let's start by setting our goals for our business. So developing our marketing plan is as simple as setting, my apologies, everybody, my slides jumped forward. It's as simple as setting your marketing goals that you want to achieve for your business. So yes, the art of self-promotion is about, what are my goals that I have for myself as a business? Are they revenue growth? Are they website traffic? Is it lead generation? Is it email subscribers? Now, I put those 4 on there because I think those are the 4 lead ones that you need for your business. Can everybody see it okay? I just want to know if I must maybe try and make it a bit bigger. Yeah, it doesn't go much bigger than that. But those 4 key instructions really are what you need. You know, revenue growth, website traffic, lead generation. So how many leads are coming into the business? And then email subscribers. We were talking about setting your marketing goals. Then it's about number 2 is identifying the key marketing channels that you want to be on. So the channels you want to use and the target audience that you are marketing to needs to be on that channel. Next, consider your budget, your audience, and your resources that you have, because you can't afford to be on all the channels from a time perspective. Then we look at creating the content strategy. Then create a content strategy. So the types of content you want to use to convey your brand story and your expertise. Then next, of course, to make sure that all of these are actually working, we need to measure, we need to analyze the results, and we need to look at what is working, what isn't, and how am I going to move forward, right? So those really are the most important things for us to think about. Then from there, we set our marketing goals. So we go into a bit more detail. So we look at specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound goals. That's what SMART goals means. And so they are essential for you for creating an effective marketing plan. Your goals need to be specific. So here we want to look at what goals and objectives do we have for our business. So it's important to have our goals, because otherwise we're drifting content and showing up on all these channels that might not matter for the business that we're in. So again, be very clear about what are the goals that I want to achieve for my business, because we also only have so much time, right? Then, of course, analyzing the goals, thinking about what time, how much time do I have to be able to execute and implement the tactics that I've put in this plan, and what metrics am I measuring? What is success for me? So success is different things for different businesses. And, it's just knowing what is that for you. So let's look at some key marketing channels. When we look at your business as a whole, these are all the places that you could show up. So, as a freelancer or as someone in a small business, a website is probably one of your most key assets that you can have, because you own it. You own your website. You own the content that's on there. You can't be put in any Facebook jail, or you can't have your website hacked. Sorry, you can have your website hacked, but hopefully not as easy as sometimes you can get your profiles hacked. Your website showcases, your ability to why you're in business. It's the hub for your potential clients to learn more about you and your work. When we look at social media, it's a way for you to engage with your target audience and hopefully draw them towards you as a customer. When we look at online freelance platforms, there's so many of them. I don't know here if there's any platforms anybody wants to share in the chat box, but there's Upwork, there's Freelancer, there's Fiverr. There's so many places where you can market yourself. These platforms help connect you with clients who are looking for specific services. And it also helps to offer visibility to you as a business owner. When we look at content marketing, it's really about sharing and creating content that's valuable, that relates to your niche of what work you're doing, the business you're in. This you could do through blog posts or articles or videos. This content really helps to position you as an expert in your field and help you attract the customers that you're looking for. Most of us need to also be looking at email marketing. So it's important to continually build a list of potential clients, sending regular newsletters and updates. An email list you own. So you own it and you are able to be in touch with your customers. You can share updates, you can share specials. So it's a very, very valuable tool for you to be using as a business owner, is your email marketing list. So if there's something to take away from today, is to develop your email marketing list, because it is something we own. Our networking channels or our social channels, we don't necessarily own. You can look at collaborations and partnerships. So because I work with quite a lot of freelancers, this is very helpful. I've connected quite a few of them with each other. I have a website designer who I connected with a content writer. And so they work together. I have a website designer, connected them with someone from social media. So they work together for their business. I have accountants who work with lawyers. I have different lawyers who work together. I have a lawyer who works with a paralegal. So look at who could you collaborate with? How can you, really grow that circle of influence for your business? It's like, what partnerships can I get? Look at opportunities to guest blog, look at publications. There's a ton of content out there, but there's also a ton of people or organizations, publications, businesses that are looking for guests to be on their blogs or be on their podcasts, etc. Have a look at those. So one of the places that I look for guest blogging quite often is I go and look at the podcast that I might want to be on, and then I reach out to those companies or those podcasters to speak to them. With blogging, you can also put it in some Facebook groups. So if you think about your business might be local. If it is, then guest blogging locally is important for you. And then networking events. So even though you might be selling and marketing yourself online, networking at specific industry events and local events really help to grow, again, your circle of influence, grow who knows you and knows about you and can help refer you. Can I ask you, maybe you can put it in the chat box, what other channels you use for marketing yourself? I'd love to hear what other people use. Freelancer channels, I'll put them in. It's called Upwork, there's Freelancer, there's Fiverr, and there's lots, word of mouth, in-person networking, Etsy. Yes, Etsy is amazing for that. What software would I recommend? So it's not that I can say that I use MailerLite. I've used MailChimp. Those are free. So they're free for up to 1,000 users. Any good networking groups? I like to do both. I do online networking, and I network for some women's groups that are in the US. And then local, I don't know if anybody else wants to suggest. I always like to suggest our Chamber of Commerce, some boards of trade that are local, if that's what you're looking for. There's also groups on Facebook that are really helpful. So I recommend you have a look at those. So on Facebook, join groups that are either your location or like your industry or niche that you're in. I hear of people doing great business a lot on Facebook. Just start looking, just start Googling and coming up with ideas for you. And again, I can help you. I like brainstorming, coming up with ideas. A heart of networking. Yes, Susan, thanks for sharing. As a business owner, how many channels can you really be on, right? So here is like, how many? 8. That's probably enough for you to get started and to really dig deep into those. Spend your time, building out your website and your content on your website. Thank you, Deanna. That's it. Toronto Professional Women's Networking. And it's not just women's groups as well. There's lots of groups around for more, for other people as well. And there's groups around construction, or BNI is another group that's also very useful as, for marketing yourself and your business. This was to get you thinking about your website strategically, thinking about your channels strategically. All the word strategic mean is like, what's the big plan that I'm using for marketing myself or my business? And then to do it. So many of us know about all this stuff, but do we do it? Do we actually sit down and decide what it is we're doing? So let's talk about that next. So the content marketing strategy is a plan that outlines how you will create, distribute, and manage your content, right? So the most important things to do is first decide what your content goals are going to be, because the goal is what's going to drive what you do. Then you're going to develop your marketing calendar or your content calendar, and you're going to put in that calendar really what it is that you're going to plan, what are you going to organize, what are you going to create. Then you're going to look at the content topics that you want to use for your business. Again, keep it simple. Sometimes we use so many topics that it becomes overwhelming as to like exactly what it is you're trying to communicate. Think about what's my vision and my mission for my business, what's my brand messaging. Then that's what goes into who is my brand messaging, who is my target audience. So think about that your content topics always are towards those. It's about articulating your brand story and the problem or the need that you solve for your customers. And it's all around that. So, that could be things like addressing common challenges, sharing industry insights, providing tips and tutorials, or showcasing your portfolio and your success stories or your reviews from your customer. Choose your content forms, right? So again, we've talked a little bit about this, but it could be blog posts, it could be videos, it could be podcasts, it can be infographics and case studies, it could be social media posts. A variety helps keep your content engaging, and it also appeals to different preferences of people that are looking at your content. Optimize your content for search engines. So making sure that you conduct keyword research. So does everybody here conduct keyword research for their business and for their target audience? Do you have ideas of where you do it? I'd love to hear from you if you would share. How do you search your keywords and know what they are? Google, perfect. Keywords everywhere is excellent. SEMrush is another one. Etsy Hunt, yes, thank you, Natalie. So SEMrush, Moz. So these platforms help you say, okay, this is the kind of business I'm in, finding your hashtags or keywords. So sometimes I use those interchangeably, but we use it with a hashtag on our social media. But obviously in Google, you would, or on your content, you wouldn't use the hashtag in the front, right? So when we're talking about keywords, they really are, what are the key words you want people to know about your business? So for BACD, our keywords are going to be startup business. They're going to be starting a business, growing your business, marketing your business. It's all going to be around the services that I provide, and also thinking about what would my customers be looking for if they were looking for me, or asking my customers or asking people, if you were looking to start a business, what would you type in the search bar? That's how you develop your keywords. I will look at some resources to share with you, those who don't know how to do it, but it's not as difficult as it's not difficult at all. It's just thinking about your customer. Say you went onto a Google search bar and typed in starting a business, you could see all the content that comes up would be, that's a keyword that I just typed in. When you look below the search results, there's a little Google panel that says other people also searched for this. So then there's more keywords there. And so I would make sure I have a blend of those keywords in my content in marketing on my website. Create high quality content, because you want to focus on valuable and informative, well-crafted content that really showcases your expertise as a business, right? And then promoting your content. So you want to develop a content promotion strategy that helps you amplify who you are, helps you build your visibility, helps you reach the people that you want to, right? So how do we do that? Well, it's about sharing your content. It's about posting on social media. Maybe it's about tagging people. Can I ask anybody here to put in the chat box how you share your content? What works best for you? How do you get the most shares and likes on that content? And how do you get people to engage with that content? Does everybody here use ChatGPT? I'd like you to go and have a look. ChatGPT. If you don't know how to develop something, put it in ChatGPT and ask them. LinkedIn is my go-to to create content. So I bet that's excellent. I keep hearing TikTok is the way to go. Only if it's the type of business that is on there. Susan, I'm glad that you can't get you in the result for ChatGPT, because that is where we come in as humans. So ChatGPT is a great place to start, to say, help me understand what keywords are and how to build them into my own website. From there on, you go, okay, these are the keywords that I know. Now that I know what to do, these are my keywords. This is my opinion. These are my experiences. This is my education. This is the types of clients I serve. That you don't necessarily share on ChatGPT, but it's a great place to start from a, an editing perspective and a brainstorming. So that's what I use ChatGPT for. I use it a lot with my own customers at BACD, just to help them learn how to use it for their own business, because we only have so much time in the day. So for me, that's how I find it very useful. When you look at your content, how can you also engage with your audience? So I want to say thanks to everybody who shared in the chat just how they get engagement for their business, right? Deanna, I'd like to ask you, what made you decide that LinkedIn was a good channel for you to be on?
Well, I just noticed that I get so many more eyes on my work compared to what I can actually visually see on Instagram. I mean, the reels get a lot of impressions on Instagram, but I also think that my audience is on LinkedIn. It's more of a professional atmosphere with a lot of coaches, a lot of the people I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And I find that responding to people's comments gets a lot of engagement there. People will respond.
Yes.
It's basically, I agree, like just knowing where your people are, that's half the challenge.
It is. So, but when you didn't know where they are, how did you get to the point that now you know where they are? What did you do?
Just experiment. I just noticed like how very few posts I had put up that were already getting so much visual, people haven't been getting their eyes on my work. So just like how much you're putting into something and what you're getting back is sort of how I measured it.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks
I just wanted to ask you that, because this is the same for everybody. We need to know where our audiences could be. And so when we are starting out, we don't always know where they're going to be. So, you could post it on a LinkedIn page and say, I'm looking for my audience, but I'm not sure where they are. What do you suggest? You can, but you like, I'm part of like some Facebook groups that are around entrepreneurship. You can ask on those groups. People love to help each other. So if you're unsure, then that's just the place to go and look for it, right? When we look at like, what are the opportunities on those channels? Really, you're trying to establish your credibility and your expertise. So if you happen to be, and that's what we are as coaches, consultants, freelancers, you are selling some of your expertise. If they are on that, then what are you going to do to build your credibility and your expertise? This is the place where you show some of your reviews, some testimonials, you write blogs or articles that speak to your success or speak to your expertise and your knowledge. So it goes back to the beginning where we go, what are my content goals? How often am I going to show up on those? If you don't know what to post on LinkedIn, it goes back to looking at what are the types of content you want to post. So right is what the slide we're looking at right now talks to it, right? It's identify the content topics. It's one thing to say, this is my experience, but it's another to start writing about your experience, your knowledge, and what your customers need to know. So say you're in business to help people learn to network, then you're going to write about what it is, how to use it. You're going to find topics to write about networking as a whole, right? If you are looking for, okay, what content do I write? That's one of the ways you would do that, because you are going to write content that's going to draw the people that you actually want. You're not going to write content that's totally unrelated in some ways, that you end up with customers that you don't want. So it's important to think about what those content topics are going to be for your business, right? And then choose the different forms you can do. So on LinkedIn, yes, you can do video, you can do articles, you can link back to your website. There's a lot of different content forms that you can use on there. And I'm talking just about LinkedIn today, but there's lots of other channels that you can be on as well. As a small business owner, you probably can't do more than 3 or 4 well. So really think about, how much time do I have to actually spend running my business, and really being able to run these channels properly for your business. When you think of your content marketing strategy, it's also helps you develop your leads. So let's go into the next slide. Looking at now, what are your content goals? And so we mentioned this briefly. Thank you, Sabit. Do you mean 3 or 4 channels? I do, Heather. Yes. At the most. Like, it depends. Like, if it depends how deep you're going into all these channels, right? So if you're mostly posting on Instagram and just scheduling that to be on Facebook, great, you've got 2 there. But if you really wanted to get into really building a presence on Instagram, you'd have to be there a little bit more. You have to comment before and after you post. You have to engage with people. You have to make sure the mix of your followers are the mix that you need, right? There's lots of different ideas when it comes to like, how do we really build our brand awareness, right? One of the key things is to consistently showcase your expertise, show your unique value proposition, your brand. So becoming known for something, right? So showing up with that consistently and having that message there that says to people, this is what you do. Sometimes if you, like the clients I look at, we just don't do it enough and not consistently. Now, when I say enough, I don't mean post 5 times a day. Maybe it's 3 times a week. It depends on, again, your channel and what you're doing and what you're trying to do. Position yourself as an authority in your field, and do that by creating content that showcases your knowledge, your skills, and your experience. Share valuable insights and industry trends, maybe, and maybe thought leadership. So if you don't know what those are, again, go to ChatGPT and say, I'm an XYZ, or I'm a business coach. Give me, 3 topics that I can talk about thought leadership in business coaching. And so then you take the topic and you read it and understand it, expand on it, build it from your experience, because there's no point just copying it out of ChatGPT. It's a great place, as I said, brainstorm. Your content goals also need to generate leads for you. So you want content that attracts and captures the interest of potential customers. So again, this could be done through blog posts or lead magnets, through ebooks, guides, checklists, and templates, or any gated content. So gated content just means content. Maybe it's a download or an ebook, something free that requires you take their email address, so their contact information. That goes back to the strategy where we talked before about making sure that you get people's email addresses. Yeah, Liz, I love that. Liz has found it's important to be consistent with the timing of our posts. Actually, I saw someone post that last week. They were checking out 3 different times to post content, and they found 11 didn't work and 12 didn't work, but 11:57 worked, you know? So interesting, but for sure, that's what worked for them, right? Nurture your client relationships. So also use content to engage and nurture your clients, your existing clients. Can you share like exclusive tips and updates and case studies with them? You know, maybe you can do that through newsletters or content that's focused on them. So when we look at some other content goals, really what you need to be aware of is when you are getting people's email addresses, they are opting in. So they are only giving it to you in exchange for something. So if they sign up, it says right on there, you'll be receiving emails from me time to time. So everything we do is from CASL legislation for sure. CASL stands for Canadian Anti-Spam Legislation. So that's the Canadian one. There's also the American, although not as strict. The most strict are Canadian and GDPR. So you can Google those and find out a little bit more about them. So if you are marketing yourself to Europe, you have to be very aware of what the GDPR legislation is, which is around privacy and collection of information. And CASL is the Canadian anti-spam legislation. So if you are targeting people by email, you need to give them an opportunity to unsubscribe. It's fairly easy to understand. I mean, yeah, the legislation looks complex, but there's like, try ChatGPT, decipher CASL for me and what I should know as a small business. And it'll tell you opting in is important, telling people what you're doing with their information, having a terms of use policy on your website. So if anybody's local, we've still got a few seats in our online agreements that we're talking about, our legal agreement. So we have that in our office this week. I think it's on Wednesday, and he's going to cover some of these. And then also engage and entertain your customers, right? So we think about, can you showcase your portfolio of past work, success stories, or case studies? There's lots of content that you can use really just to market yourself, right? And you can look online in terms of like, make it easy for yourself. See who else might be doing this. Can you do something similar? Not everything's original. Like you can't come up with original content day after day. So sometimes have a look at what other people are doing for your own inspiration, right? With content, can it also, one of your goals could be to increase website traffic. So creating content that drives people to your websites. Again, that's a blog post more than likely. Encourage your audience to engage by creating content that sparks conversation. So maybe asking questions, right? Inviting comments, putting prompts that can tell people what to ask questions about. So really think about, how do I engage my audience, right? How do I interact with them? Also think about trying to establish maybe a personal connection. So for some of your businesses, if you're selling direct to a consumer, you can share personal anecdotes and experiences and behind the scenes insights to really connect with your audience on a human level. So really, 4 content goals is really all that you need for your business, right? Number 1, it's always increase brand awareness, generate leads, educate and inform, and then engage and interact with your audience, because you want to build friends, you want to build people that come back to you and work with you regularly. So then from there, we develop our content calendar, right? So now we decide what's the schedule of posting, what are the timelines, what calendar, of what you want. Do you want to post throughout the year? I actually do this content calendar quite a bit with clients. Sometimes we think too much in all of this, and just keep it simple and stay focused. Okay, I'm going to schedule, I'm going to put my timelines down. This is what I want to post. Look at your content themes throughout the year. So again, look at your expertise. What do you want people to know about you? What do you want to share? And then divide it into that type of content, right? Then think about, what's my plan for promoting and amplifying this content? How am I going to do it? What channels am I going to do? Am I going to do paid advertising? Your paid advertising can be really, really cheap. I end up coming back to Excel all the time. There's a lot of free content calendars you can get out there. I got one on HubSpot, from HubSpot, I think. I'll put that on here, HubSpot content calendar. You can Google it and it'll bring it up. It ended up just being so complicated because it had like all the channels and the message and the dates and all that sort of stuff. If you have Canva Pro, it also has a content calendar in it. So there's a content planner and you can write into it. So not only does the content that you schedule automatically get put on there, but you can write into it. You can also use Hootsuite. So Hootsuite, I think, is 3 free channels still. So you can use Hootsuite. I don't know if anybody else is using any other schedulers. People use the Meta platform as well. Meta is just for Instagram and Facebook. And then you can use your email marketing. So sometimes Taplio, thank you. Yes. Sometimes you can think about, okay, what channels am I on? My email marketing, my blog. Think about your blog informs what goes on your email. Your blog informs what goes on your social media posts, right? And then just your different distribution channels you use to publish that content. Again, that's about what marketing channels are you on. So here's an example of a content calendar. And this is why I said it looks quite complicated. And this is exactly how it looks. Like, to me, it was like too much. This one's actually from ClickUp. So this is, if anybody's using ClickUp as a project management software, this is theirs. Here it actually tells you on the very left what's their content pillar, like what goes on those channels, or you can see it in better on the right-hand side. So your, Monday updates, Tuesdays a how-to, Wednesdays quick tips, happy Thursday, ask me anything. So you can keep it really that clean in terms of you always know what you're doing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then there you have your status, your content, and then who approves what. For me, it's like keeping it as simple as possible. You can build this yourself really in an Excel spreadsheet. So next we look at what are the content topics. So here I'm being specific about a freelancer. But so what are the benefits and the advantages of working with a freelancer? Maybe you talk about the flexibility, specialized expertise, cost effectiveness, or personalized attention. You can use case studies. You can use real life examples of projects that you've completed for clients. What about highlighting the challenges you have faced, your approach, the positive outcomes you've achieved? When you look at the tips, you can give tips. How do you find a business coach? How do you find an XYZ? Provide guidance for businesses or individuals that are looking to hire freelancers, right? Offer advice on what to look for, what questions to ask, what red flags to avoid. And when we look at behind the scenes, so offer a glimpse into how you work every day, maybe show your desk, your office, showcase how you approach projects, show you collaborating with clients or how you deliver results. Use success stories and testimonials. So feature your testimonials or success stories of your clients. Use them to share the experience of working with you and the benefits that they gain. Maybe you can talk about common myths from your industry. So that's always a good one. You can also look up on Instagram. They have a lot of, for reals, use these lines like, did you know when? And leave a line blank, and people are compelled to want to know about that. So address misconceptions or myths about, the industry you're in. Maybe myths like, freelancing is only for creatives. Maybe freelancing is unprofessional. Is it? Maybe that's a myth. What about frequently asked questions? So collaboration, discuss the benefits of collaborating between different freelancers. What about industry news and trends? You could share that with your customers. What about tools and resources to share with your clients that you use? Could you do that? Step-by-step guides. What about spotlighting or highlighting a client that you have? Rochelle, I see what you've put on there. What if your clients? Yeah, I guess you have to play that double line, unfortunately, because unless you want your job to see that you are looking for other opportunities, you'd have to do it privately. And you would just have to build your personal brand of who you are. So you can still be an expert in your personal brand. So, use it as a way. That's how I would be doing it. I'd be still posting. And if the company says anything, it's around, I'm posting my expertise. I'm posting my knowledge. I'm posting the types of clients I look after. People can private message you. You just don't have a overt call to action. You can just say, if you need to know anything, contact me. But you're not saying, I'm looking for clients, come and see me today. So I hope that helps. So then let's look at some content forms. And I think we've mentioned these already. So case studies, of course, blog posts, case studies you can do some in-depth case studies that really highlight the clients and the successful projects you've had. Sometimes though, that is just very in depth, right? And I don't know if people are reading that today. So people are not reading. Oh, maybe you can tell me, anybody here, do you read case studies that are 10, 15 pages long? In some industries you will, and in some you won't. I guess it just depends, but for the most part, no, I like that. Big capital letters, yeah. So if you're going to write a case study, keep it short and sweet. It's just like if you're going to write a book, make sure what you want to tell the customers in the first 3 or 4 or 5 chapters, because the studies are that people don't read the rest of the book. Incorporate videos into your marketing. So create either tutorial videos or client testimonials, behind the scenes footage. These videos can be shared on all kinds of platforms. Infographics, of course, designing visually appealing graphics. Do things like ebooks or guides or templates or checklists. I'm really good at doing that. So yes. Okay, good, Evelyn. Yes, thank you, Doodly. So, and then also think about what other forms for your business. Maybe webinars and live sessions make sense. So host webinars where you can present content, show about you, share about a problem a lot of your customers have. Webinars are really great for building your authority, your showcase, your expertise, your knowledge. But don't do what I did today, which my platform wasn't working very well. And I tried it before. I don't know what happened that I couldn't figure it out. I've done this many times and today I couldn't figure it out. So Luma, thank you. I'm loving all the content everybody is sharing. Social media posts, expert interviews, podcasts. These are all ways that you can use to promote yourself. Other content forms, quizzes or assessments are useful as well. And we talked about checklists, expert interviews, white papers or research, FAQ videos, user-generated content. So maybe getting your clients to help you do content with you as well. Again, all this content, it's really important to align with your target audience and what you do, because there's no point creating content for what's not your business, right? So how do you promote your content? Well, we've talked about this already. Your blog post, social media platforms, share snippets, links, or visuals. Professional networking websites, you can, one of those would be LinkedIn. Online communities, well, on Reddit is an online community. Online communities, podcasts, webinars like here, yes. Industry directories is another way you can promote yourself, or freelancer platforms, cross-promoting, paid advertising. Again, I always come back to this, choose the channels that align with your target audience, right? So how do you show up in search? So if you have a business website, using relevant keywords, using your meta tags, think about long tail keywords. So long tail keywords are long search terms. So one of the things to do for your business is optimizing your content for voice search. If we're looking for a dentist, and we type it into Google, we're going to say dentist, open on the evenings, weekends. We're going to say near me. If you're going to write content for your website, it needs to be this long tail that it has all that information in the search term or in the content that you're writing. Collaborate. So to me, it's like collaborate with other partners. I think Reddy mentioned this in some other ideas. Build backlinks to your website. So backlinks are an opportunity for you to get a higher profile by linking to websites and them linking back to you. So it helps to increase your visibility, your site authority. So I'll give you an example of my backlinks is I link to all the Employment Ontario providers. They link back to my site. So if they have a page on their website that talks to starting a business, the towns, the libraries, they link to me. So for your business, think about who can you link to? What online communities can you be part of that you can show your expertise? Guest posting. As I said, a lot of Facebook groups that are not necessarily local, but I learn so much from what people say on there and the questions they ask. And you do the same. Ask those questions, Think about leveraging local SEO. So if you're local, use local geographic services. So location specific. So, are you a business coach in Whitby? Are you a freelancer in Ontario? Use those. How do you make those links happen? So in some cases, you have to phone, you have to email, you have to ask those companies to link to you. But you in the first place could link to them. So those you can do without having to ask anybody. Oh, is it okay that I link to your website? You could ask that. But yeah, for me, it's fairly easy to get those backlinks because it's people who need to know about us. So Is that something you can do for your business too? I give an example. If you're a spa, can you link to local services around you? How can I be the go-to person for my client? What other services would they need? Do I know somebody? I know a person. I know a person. Think about linking to those kinds of people or companies. When you look at all of this that's on here, think about, okay, what are you tracking? So sometimes we want to be in all these places, but for what reason? If there's little to no a return on investment of that time, it's probably not worth it. So really look into, like, where should I rather be? Maybe one of the things is to really optimize your website, to look at your Google Analytics, analyze those key metrics that are there, collaborate with others. There's always the argument for those links. But at the same time, if you want to be the go-to person for your clients, how do you do that? That would be one way, and hope that they come back. So for you as a business, stay updated about the latest SEO trends. So the latest best practices. Again, something like SEMrush or Moz, who I put in earlier, they actually share that with you. They share what's the most up-to-date stuff around this. You can also follow some people, the people I mentioned earlier on. You can follow them. They have content on there all the time that talk about the things to stay up to date with in business, right? The next slide really is about measuring and analyzing your results. What do you want to measure? There's no point doing all this work if you're not measuring it, right? You're just wasting your time. How do you know what's working if you don't measure? How do you know how many leads you're getting? Start really small and just build it. And this, you're going to have these slides. I'm going to send them to you. So it'll give you some points. Maybe you attack one or two things, lay it out in the year. Okay, this quarter I'm going to look at podcasts. Next quarter I'm going to look at backlinks. Just try as much as you can to keep it simple for yourself, right? Try not to make it too complicated. Next is just like, how do you delight your customers? In the business we're in, we have to delight our customers. We have to keep them loyal to us. Sometimes we forget these are the things we really need to do. It's really this simple. Clear communication. Have attention to detail. There's so many things that have mistakes in them. Strive to deliver your work either before or on time. And then offer value-added services to your clients, right? If they're sitting in front of you, if you're working with them, how can you delight them? How can you find out? What questions can you ask? It's just being yourself with whoever's sitting in front of you, trying to be yourself. If you're working, this is already like you have customers, is what this slide's about, right? So important to have really clear communication, respond to their inquiries quickly. I don't know if you've seen this, that so many people just don't respond on time anymore. How can you change? How can you be different? Number one, follow up. And number two, just respond on time, and you'll stand out from the crowds because people just don't follow through. So grow your network. Yes, attend local events. Look for events that are relevant to your niche or your target audience, but attend local. Go and check out your local Chamber of Commerce and Board of Trade. They are worthwhile organizations to be part of. It's how you meet other entrepreneurs and businesses. You can try before you buy. Collaborate with local businesses, offer workshops and seminars because it really helps to build. I like the idea, if it's something that you can do, show your expertise through workshops and seminars. It's a great way to gain referrals, get to know people. When you actively collaborate and network locally, you show who you are. You show people what you have to offer. People get to know you. They can see who you are before they have to buy. And my last slide is thank you. Thank you very much for going through this with me. I hope that you got a lot of information.